I'm out here single-handedly paying Mona Awad's rent. Hey, what's up? Hello, it's Katie Colson here. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about books that I want to read in February. But you know, if you've been here before, that before we get into that, we're going to have to talk about my favorite sponsor, and that is Book of the Month. We're on to our favorite book of the month. So this is a subscription service that I actually pay for, even though they send me the books for free. But I love their add-ons so much. Like, that's how I got The Secret History. That's how I got It Ends With Us. I'm like, I need all my books to be the same size, and all of Book of the Month's books are the same size, and God bless them, because the sizing of books and publishing is getting a little outrageous, to be honest. But anyway, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what Book of the Month is, hello, hi, I'm Katie, let me tell you. This is a book subscription service that every month their team vets hundreds of new and early releases, and they narrow it down to a selection of 5 of the books that they think this is what people are going to be talking about, this is the best, this is what you need to be reading and have your eyes on. So that means that you don't need to do so much time researching, you can do your time reading. Which, like, they're helping us take one of the things away that's stopping us from meeting our Goodreads goal. So God bless them. Another amazing thing about them is that you can skip any month without any financial penalization. Like, I skip months all the time, like literally all the time, because the add-ons just aren't calling out to me, and I've never been charged. It's so easy. You just press a button and it's done. And another amazing thing about Book of the Month is that it only costs, like, it's so freaking cheap. It's so freaking cheap, it's insane. It is the literal best price for new hardcover release fiction that is out there. Hands down, I've tried to find better and it doesn't exist. And if you use my code, which is Katie, I love that I have my own code and it's my name. It's so freaking cute. If you use the code Katie, you get your first book for $9.99. Like, that's so cheap. What the heck? And I'm gonna talk about now the 5 books that they are offering for February. We have 2 historical fictions. We have Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu, and this is going to be a debut, and it is also an early release. And then we also have Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black. Then we have a 4-peat author. This is the 4th book that they've had with Book of the Month, and it is The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Now, I actually already listened to this book like 2 months ago. I got like a super early release audiobook, so this is exciting to have the physical book, and this is also an early release. So I've got it in both directions. River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross would be my secondary pick. This is a fantasy of a lot of unexplained disappearances going on that draw back a reluctant hero to his home village in this spellbinding tale. This one's my number 1 pick, and I have to just read you the summary. Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. This is a debut literary fiction, and the summary is amazing. Darkly humorous exploration of gender and power follows a cantankerous female professor in the midst of a scandal. What? Like, this would be my pick for sure. So thank you, Book of the Month, so much again for sponsoring this video, and let's jump into it. Okay, on to the books that I want to read in February. Now, the first one that will absolutely be happening, because if you didn't know, if you're late to the party, I started a Patreon. And like, I was so nervous about doing it. I had so much anxiety about doing it. And the level of support and like kindness that I've been given on Patreon, I cannot begin to thank you enough. Like, I'm getting carpal tunnel by writing all these letters to you guys, but it's worth it. Like, y'all deserve it. You're supreme, elite, stunning, flawless, phenom, null, love it. But we did a little thing, okay? So my Patreon is themed after Bunny, which is arguably my favorite book of all time. Like, that's so hard to say what's your favorite book of all time, but like, it might just be it, you know what I'm saying? But I themed it after Bunny, and in Bunny, they do like a writing workshop, and they call it the Smut Salon. So that's what I named my book club. Now, I told all of them, all the Duchesses, I was like, y'all get to pick what we're gonna read. And it was unanimously voted. I did not force it on anyone. But we're gonna be reading Bunny for February's book club pick. I'm so freaking excited. So if you wanna go over there on Discord, there is like a whole thread for the Smut Salon where you can go on and you can be on any tier and discuss it. There's gonna be 2 different ones. There's spoilers and non-spoilers, because a lot of us have already read it, but there is a lot of you that haven't read it yet, and I'm so excited. And I was telling everyone that was like, I don't know if Bunny will be for me. I'm like, you need to know your origin story, Bunny. Bunny, you need to know, okay? This book, I've talked about it so many times, okay? So I'm gonna try to be brief. This is about a girl who is in this writing program, and it's a very elite writing program. There's her and 4 other girls. Now, the 4 girls call themselves the Bunnies. They're very cliquey, very like culty, creepy, and they do this smut salon, and they invite Samantha, the main character, into it. After they notice something about her, they invite her in, and they do some weird shit there. Very weird. Very, what the fuck is going on? And I'm so excited to talk about this with all of you. Like, I'm so freaking excited. Like, if you're one of my Patreons, like, you already know how excited I am. I cannot wait to read this with you guys and to do reading sprints for it. Like, I'm so excited. This will be my third read of this book, and I can't wait. Speaking of things I'm reading for my Patreon, every month I was like, the Duchesses are going to send in things they want me to read, and whichever ones like get more than a couple votes, I'm going to put them up on a poll, and then they all vote for them, and then y'all like decide which one I'm going to read and do a reading vlog for that month. And I did not anticipate the results at all. Like, the one that I saw coming was Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead, which is like second in the polls right now, but number one is Verity by Colleen Hoover. And I was like, what is it about Verity that like everybody wants me to read this book? Like, I don't know, but I had so many votes for Verity. So I am planning on reading this. I am gonna see about getting a physical copy, but I might just listen to the audio because I listened to the audio for It Ends With Us and really enjoyed it. So I might listen to the audio. All I know about this is that it is a romance, but I feel like people say it in quotes, kind of like how they do with It Ends With Us. But it's like where this author gets into like a car accident. She gets into some sort of accident and she's kind of like comatose or like some sort of situation like that, like medically in a coma, I think. And she was coming out with a book, and they need the main character, our main character, to ghostwrite it because this woman can no longer write it. So she's coming in to ghostwrite the book, and I'm pretty sure it's about like her and the author's husband like falling in love, but I've heard it's like a thriller. I don't know, but I liked Layla by Colleen Hoover, which was like a paranormal romance. So I like her like divergences of romance, I think. So I'm excited to read it, and apparently everybody else is excited for me to read it too. And of course, I am going to be reading Finley Donovan Knocks 'Em Dead, whether or not it wins a poll or not. I am so excited for this book. It is the sequel to Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casamino. I am so in love with this series, and I swear to God, on my reading sprints on Patreon the other day, Olivia was like listening to it because she got it on NetGalley as an audiobook, and I had no freaking idea that was even a possibility. I was like mind blown. I've never done NetGalley before because I'm like, just don't really read that many ebooks or like read on my Kindle that much. And she's like, oh, they just started doing audiobooks. And I was like, bitch, say what? Excuse me, what? So I requested it, but I've never requested anything before, so I don't think it'll get sent to me, but I'm gonna buy it like no matter what. But I want to listen to the audio. This is such a stunning, funny mystery thriller. It's so freaking good. So the first one is about our main character, where she is an author. I've been reading a lot of books about authors recently. Love that for me. She's an author, and she's not doing too well. She got divorced, and her husband's trying to take her kids, and she doesn't have money. She's really broke, and her books are just like not coming out fast enough, not selling well enough. So she goes to talk to her editor or publicist, one of those, at a Panera, and she's talking about like, she writes like, I think it's detective romances, and the way that she's describing like getting this book out and writing this book and like the death that happens in this book, there's a woman at the Panera that thinks that she's a hitman or like a hit woman. So she slips a note to her like, I need you to kill this guy for this much money. And our main character's like, oh my God, what? But that's a lot of money. But what? But that's a lot of money. And it's like, just things just fall apart and fall apart and fall apart. And it's so funny, like the situations this character winds up in. And Vero, the side character, is so funny and so good. And I'm literally obsessed. And the way that the first book ended, I was like, I need the second book right now. I need the second book right now. Which she did write it really quickly. Like, I'm not gonna lie. She wrote it like in less than a year and published it in less than a year. So love that for me. So I will be reading this book, and this is one of probably my number 2 most anticipated book of 2022. Speaking of most anticipated books of 2022, I have my most anticipated, and that is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna McGuire. This is number 7 in the Wayward Children series. So the Wayward Children series is like a portal fantasy where kids will stumble upon these magical doors that lead to these magical worlds where it's perfect for them, but they're really messed up. Like, the worlds are not cotton candy rainbows. They are effed, you know, very grim fairy tale, but it's perfect for them for some reason. But if it happens to be that they leave, that they get exiled, banished, something like that, and they tumble back into our world, it's very difficult for them to acclimate back into our society. So they go to Eleanor's Home for Wayward Children to either learn how to acclimate back into the world or to find their door again and go back to what they consider home. So that's amazing. This book is actually what's it called? It's like a different school. It doesn't say. Well, it's a different school. It starts with a T, I think. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, this is set not in Eleanor's home, but in a different school that's a lot more dark and rule following or something like that. I don't know. But you're following Cora, who is like kind of like a mermaid from one of the other books. This is not set with all the same characters, and it is Cora as the main character, which I thought was good, but like not as entertaining as other characters. And apparently stupid horse girl comes back in this book. Horse girl from Reagan from freaking Across the Green Grass Field. And I'm like, I do not care about her. I do not care at all. I don't want to hear about that. Listen, I love Shauna McGuire, but the books are either like 5 stars or 2 stars. Like there's like never any in between, I feel like. So I'm hoping for the best, but I am going in with like mild expectations. This book, I'm sure that I'll read because I've actually already started it, but I don't have any hopes that I will finish it before January is over, and that is This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. So I was actually on a live reading sprint with Aaron and Kayla, or I was watching it, and I asked them to recommend me a horror audiobook, and Kayla recommended this book, but then when I messaged her and asked her, because it's short, if it's a good physical book, she said yes, they're equally as good. So I ended up picking this one up, and I don't know what this is about other than I'm only like 14 pages in, but you're starting out with this guy at his wife's funeral and you're trying to figure out, I think, like what killed her, but then I'm pretty sure that they like go to a like what is like a haunted hotel or do they own the hotel? Wow, I'm woefully ill prepared. I have no idea. It's good so far though. It's very funny. Like it is very funny and it's a horror and I love horror, but it's very dark. And like, there was like one sentence that I was like, that is some damn good writing. Let me see. Okay. It's talking about people coming up and being like, oh my God, like call me if you need anything. Like, let me know if you need anything at the funeral. And he says, what they say, call me. What they mean, it's your responsibility to let me know when I have to care. So yeah, this one's getting read. Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This is supposed to be very reminiscent of And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which is one of my favorite classics of all time. I was in that play in high school and I freaking am obsessed. It's so good. And I love how fast-paced that book is, which I feel like that is what people have been saying about this, is it's very like lots of secrets, like rich people drama. It's fast-paced and thrilling and twisty. And I really love that. So it's supposed to be set on this like secluded island where these 6 strangers are there to have like some blissful journey or something, but one of them goes missing and another one ends up dead, and it's like all these secrets are coming out and it's like, are they safe? They're like getting picked off one by one. And like, listen, that's a vibe and it's my vibe. I really want to read The Inheritance Games. I have not heard good things about the rest of the series. Like, I feel like people say that the first book is really good and then the second book is like okay, and then the third book I think is the third book that people are like, this is terrible. I don't know. But I've heard not good things about the rest of them, but shockingly, very good things about the first book. So this is supposed to be about this girl who I'm pretty sure is like really down on her luck. And she gets a notification that's like, hey, this person has died and left you in their will. And she's like, what? Who is that person? I have no idea. And she shows up to this house, like this mansion, and there's his sons, like the guy that's died. His sons are like, what do you mean? Like, you are gonna get the inheritance? No. And it's like, how are you related to this situation? What's going on? I don't know. But she's like, listen, it's a lot of money. Let's do this shit. And I'm pretty sure they have to like solve some sort of like puzzle or something to get the money. I don't know, but that sounds so good and I'm down to ride. I really want to listen to the audio of Hinch by Natalie Zena Walcott's. Now, I had heard a couple people say that they really think I'm gonna like this book, but that it might not be like a good book for other people, which I really love because this is kind of like a villain origin story. So this is about this woman who I believe is like a secretary or something, and she gets injured in a superhero battle, but apparently this happens all the time and people die or get hurt and like property gets damaged, and the superheroes are like, well, I saved the city, so like who cares? But when she gets like seriously maimed, she becomes like an advocate, like a vigilante of like getting back at these superheroes. So she goes and starts working for a villain and kind of becomes like a villain herself. And that sounds so fucking good. Like, I'm obsessed and I can't wait. Okay, so these next ones are hopefuls. I don't know if I'm gonna get to them in February, but if I need to pick up a book, these will be the ones I reach to. And that is The Charm Offensive by Alice Cochran. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so freaking cute. This is like a romantic comedy, I believe. So this is about a guy who is on The Bachelor, and yeah, it's The Bachelor is the one that's the man is the lead, right? Yeah. So he's like on The Bachelor and he's supposed to be picking out a bride, but then he ends up falling in love with a male producer. So cute. And I don't know, this just gives me all the good vibes and I'm obsessed. The other ones are two novellas and they're by Niveau. And it's The Empress of Salt and Fortune. And then When the Tiger Comes Down the Mountain. Now, oh God, I don't know if I'm gonna end up reading both of these because Grace said that she tried to read the second book, not realizing that it was the second book. She tried to read it and that she was like, you're not gonna like it. This is the writing style that you don't like. It's that confusing, poetic, lyrical writing. You're not gonna like it. And she's probably right. Like, I probably won't like it, but I want to give them a chance. Like, I bought them, you know? And then this is a book that I don't know anything about, but Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This was gifted to me, and the person that gifted it to me was like, I've read it like 3 times. It's so good. It's stunning. And then I actually had some people on my reading sprints being like, have you read Convenience Store Woman? And I was like, no. Like, okay, like, is this a thing? Like, everybody's talking about this book. I deadass have no idea what this is about, but it's tiny and y'all are singing its praises, so I'll read it. And then the last one, which I could absolutely finish this. It's just if I think about it, if I remember to think about it, it's Dancing at the Pity Party, a dead mom graphic memoir by Tyler Fetter. It's a graphic novel, and I'm pretty sure this is like about someone losing their mom and like trying to figure out how to deal with that. And Gabby said it made her cry and like say less, honestly. Okay, so those are all the books that I am planning and hoping to read in the month of February. Now, if you saw my January wrap up, you know that I have been hightailing it through my TBR, hightailing it through my Goodreads goal, like of what I want to read, because I said 200 books thinking that was going to be astronomical. Apparently not. Apparently not. So I do have all plans on finishing all of these books. We'll see how it goes. But again, I know I already mentioned this, but if you want to follow my Patreon, if you want to check it out, that would be absolutely amazing. I am sending letters to everyone on the Duchess tier. And if you want, it doesn't matter which tier you're part of, you can take part in the Smut Salon. And that would be absolutely amazing. Like, I'm just so excited to just do this whole thing with y'all. Like, it's just wild. I'm obsessed. Okay, y'all like have given me so much joy. Anyway, let's do a classic outro. If you want to follow me on Goodreads or Instagram, they are going to be linked down below, as well as a myriad of other links if you want to support this channel. And no, we're not doing another one. Katie, we are not doing another clip. This is it. You are stumbling and you're stuttering, and that's just going to be the way it is, okay? And your upstairs neighbors or your downstairs neighbors are banging around, bang-a-langing all around, and it's totally fine. It's totally fine. They have a small child, and it's crying, and I feel bad for them. Where was I? I hope you're having an amazing day, evening, night, dusk, dawn, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. And I will see you in a video coming very soon. Bye.